during the break, we were quickly talking about, maybe it actually takes skills and experience, because you wouldn't want to just go with somebody or work with somebody just because they're new. They should have some skills also. And, it's very true, right? You can't just go, hey, who's the newest guy? Because Russell Wilson's the quarterback. I think that would be a silly way to go. We have joining us for the first time some people who do have some experience and skills, and we're excited to chat with them a little bit. Joe Eddings and Caroline Loudenback join us from Asset Realty. Hello, guys. How are you?
Hi, Ben. Good.
Hi.
Good. And you're a football fan?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
You take skills over experience, or do you need them both?
I think you need them both.
Yeah.
It helps. But you got to start somewhere.
You do. And the guy has experience, right? I mean, he at minimum was a Big Ten quarterback. He's won a lot of games. He's done a lot. But I know your guys' experience, you don't look much like Russell Wilson, so we don't need to talk too much about football. We can get a little bit more into the true conversation here, which is real estate. And, a lot of people have heard about the lack of inventory, the fact that there's just not enough out there. And it takes sellers to create inventory. I mean, you have to have people who are selling their homes. What are some conversations you guys are having with sellers right now?
I think what I'm seeing here recently is homeowners are been beaten up, sellers. And what we see, a lot of people who tried to sell their house on the market, nothing was moving, wasn't getting offers, weren't getting showings. And as prices dropped, they said, you know what, we're just going to stay. They don't have to sell due to a job relocation or something like that. So what happens is people pull back, the sellers, to write it out. And now all of a sudden we get the spark, because when they do that, the inventory drops. But now the buyers are out there and they're starting to come out. Interest rates are still very low and very competitive. I mean, to me, it's almost like free money. But we're not seeing the buyers hitting the market again. So we're all preaching this thing. And it all depends on where the house is in neighborhoods. Everything has a different story of, when to sell, what you can get for the house. But we definitely have experienced this last 3-4 months of a lack of inventory. And also, I just did a recent report study, and we've seen a great drop in short sales, listings, and REO, bank-owned properties as well.
Well, with the prices coming up, maybe some of them aren't short sales.
Yeah. Well, I don't see that happening yet.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of people upside down who are staying in the house just because they can still maintain the payments. Mm-hmm. So they're not forced to sell. They would like to upgrade or downgrade, step down. But they just said, you know what, we're upside down. We're just going to kind of maintain this for a while. We're seeing a lot of people also remodeling homes, spending more money, like we were talking earlier, is going ahead and say, hey, let's make this our dream. Let's add on that bedroom, or let's remodel that kitchen. You mentioned there's a story that goes with a lot of these people who are potentially selling. Does the story to sell oftentimes, is it a little black and white? Is it, hey, we either have to move because of something like a relocation, but the other side is it's really just a financial decision? Are those the two? Is it life story versus money story? Is that what people are balancing? I see some people actually bought, living in it as an investment. So now they're going, okay, this is not working. I'm tired of throwing good money at bad debt because they're upside down. Then you see people who have a health issue or they got relocated. There's a lot of factors that go into that. So we're seeing both sides of that. We specialize in foreclosures and short sales and trust situations. So we're seeing every type of situation you can imagine out there as far as why they're selling. There's one simple one as a guy did a short sale just because his parents retired with a nursing home, so they're going to get their parents' house over in Whidbey Island. So they packed up and got this house free and clear, but we got to sell this house.
Well, that's a good deal. I'll take that story.
Yeah, it's a great deal.
Yeah.
But, again, you got to qualify the hardship sale. But see, there's always a different situation.
Mm-hmm. So what become the barriers into putting homes on the market? Is it the financial piece? Is it the short sales? Is it credit? Is there a whole gamut of factors?
It's a gamut of factors, especially if somebody's worried about their net. Okay, that's after your closing costs, selling. What am I going to end up with? That's where
you're talking about the money piece.
Yeah, that's a pretty big factor. Can I get enough to justify me putting my house on the market and selling it? And a lot of times I'm seeing what people are seeing is okay, if I sell this, then what am I going to buy? What am I left over to get to that next place? So that's a factor. And also a lot of people go, well, I think I'm going to be really close. Where am I at? Right? I call that the borderline. You know, are they going to be upside down? Is it going to be a short sale? So we're still seeing a lot of that. People are just kind of pushing that fine line.
Well, you talked about where people are going to go, and with rentals going up also, and also very hard to find right now, you really do need a place to, lay your head, for the lack of a better term, but you really do have to find a place for your, a home.
Right. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of people actually getting out of their homes and renting. That's the new. I mean, I know somebody who had.
It's the new buying.
Yeah, they got out of their house. They were upside down, $200,000. Their payment was $4,300. Now they moved out, downsized. Their kids are gone. Did the short sale, got rid of the house. Now they're renting $1,800 a month, and so they're going to sit there and just save their money for the next couple of years and get back in the home buying business for a while. So that's where we're seeing a lot of these rental properties are people are renting now.
Yeah,
they're harder to find.
Well, how do people determine if it's a good time to sell? I mean, it would see we've talked with a lot of different people of kind of contrasting arguments on, well, it is a good time, or you should wait a little bit. I mean, it seems to be contrasting arguments on, is now the right time to sell? What are your thoughts on that?
I think, again, analyzing the market, finding out the situation. One thing we do first is interview that seller, really find what their needs are. Do they really have to sell? What's their motivation? A lot of people I see is they want to just test the market, see what's going to happen. So they get that price way up there. I call them, they're fishing, okay? I call it being on the market. There's being on the market, being in the market. So that's what we do. We sit down and analyze. We have some pretty sophisticated systems that we use for analyzing property.
What are some of what are the factors you're analyzing? I imagine there's all these data points. What are you analyzing exactly?
The four things about real estate: it's condition, location, it's about marketing, and it's about your price point. Okay, you got a zero on that. So you have to take all those factors about that house, and then now you have a little bit of a story. Okay, now you analyze that story, and then you figure out, okay, this is where the range that you're going to be in. So it's real important to hear where they're at, where they want to get out of this thing. So that's where we have to interview them, have to interview the house, which a lot of people don't do. But you really got to look at that house. How's it flow, the condition, age, updating. Beautiful house neighborhood, but that one happens to be backed up to a busy street or something. There's a lot of things that go into play on that.
Like those houses on Hunts Point that used to be these big, beautiful ones, and now the trees are all down going across South 520. Real nice neighborhood, real busy road behind them.
View property.
Yeah. They used to. Well, now that's a view with a nice little trickle of noise every day. So what you talk about the interviewing the house, interviewing the people. It all just kind of comes together. It doesn't sound like there's a real linear path for people to make a decision because there's so many different pieces of the puzzle that need to be looked at.
Right.
Right.
You have to find out their story. You have to talk to them. We consult.
Hello, Caroline.
We're consulting. Hello. He does a lot of the talking. But we talk a lot behind the scenes. No, we sit down and do a lot of consulting, and you almost have to be a counselor in some of these situations. A lot of times we're breaking the news to them that, by the way, you're going to be upside down.
Yeah.
And so then we guide them through that process. And the good thing is that if they do find themselves in that situation, we know how to move to that next level. They're not having to go, oh, well, now I need an expert or something. So we're there. We're
here with Joe Eddings and Caroline Loudenback. Guys, we just have about a minute left before we have to go to break. But what are some of those big motivating factors when a seller just says, yes, it's time?
Time to sell?
Time to sell. Yeah, I mean, is there anything that jumps out as something where somebody could just say, yep, it's time? I mean, it's my turn to go. Sell my house, not go.
Sell my house.
Yeah.
Price point is to me probably the most important part what we're looking at right now. Buyers are very, very intelligent now. Buyers are used to coming in, seeing the list price. I don't care. We're offering you 20% less just because it was a huge buyer's market. Now it's turned to a seller's market. So price point is very important. Having that agent represent you to educate those buyers come in, think they can still get these bargain deals, but it's already priced at. And my biggest thing is I tell people, these buyers come in and want to be up in these houses, especially my short sales or bank-owned property. I look at them and I go, would this house appraise today? A lot of them answer, well, I think it would appraise. Then I said, okay, then that's.
What do you mean by you think it would appraise?
Appraisal. If you had an appraiser come out and appraise its value, what we're at right now, this price that we're talking about, do you think this house would appraise? And that takes a lot of those other...
At the value you want to sell it at.
Right. So it's part of negotiating and having somebody that has experience, again, how to take these buyers and these other agents out there who, are trying to get this good deal. We represent one party, the seller. If we represent a buyer, of course, we're going to try to get the best price possible.
Sure.
Represent a seller, I want the highest price possible for my seller.
And you talked about a big part of your business. I mean, when you're trying to get the highest price for your seller, I mean, you're trying to maybe keep them out of a short sale, or potentially they go into one. What is, what are some big pieces that you with your experience that you've seen in short sales and kind of getting through that process?
Again, that's where you got to interview the seller, interview the house, then you have all your ducks lined up and understanding how banks think, how you package a deal, explain the system, make sure the sellers can be on board to cooperate during a short sale process. So before we even jump into that, all those ducks, everything has to come into play. We spend a long time setting this whole thing up, and once we get a feel that the house is going to work, the seller is going to cooperate, and we have a professional negotiators, we use a law firm that does this for really a decent deal, and they work very, very hard. So once you get all those things in together, then you can end up with a successful short sale. Right now, we're in the high 90s for our success rate, as far as our closing our short sales. But that comes from doing this since 1998 and just knowing all the ins and outs and how banks think and how you got to package these things.
So you got the quality and the experience, guys. Thanks so much for joining us, Joe Eddings and Caroline Loudenback. When we come back, we are going to chat with Corey Brandt and talk a little bit more about maximizing returns in real estate. We'll be right back after this break.